Parankushachar.org is the website where most of the content that we've been discussing today are available. This site can also be accessed using other names, pivstrust.org or parankusan.cloudapp.net. All of these DNS names map to the same website. The website has different features for various types of roles, for administrators, for contributors, and for users. Administrators firstly can use these DNS names, and then they can access the site just like others. They can also control what access various people have on the website. For joining this website, in case you are not already a member, then you have to do a user registration, and the administrator can approve it. So the steps are to first get registered, then log into the website. Later, we can change the password. Then when this happens, when registration is happening, administrator can approve the registration and then change the access, or set a particular type of access. We have talked about the alternate DNS names. The website is hosted on Microsoft Azure Cloud. We had an earlier version which people might have used previously, parankusa.org. We have gone to a new DNS name. So this is the right DNS names to be used to access the site on the browser address bar are provided as above. And if you access the site in that way using any of these URLs, it will be you will be led to a login page, and from that login page, depending on what your username is that has been chosen in the registration, you log in. Then it will lead to a website where various things can be seen. We'll go through the features that can be seen in the website. Firstly, you register onto the website and then you log in. As a new user, you can register onto the website by entering a name, a email ID, and then you can choose a particular login name that you prefer, and then choose a password. Then this registration then goes to the administrator who looks at the registration. Currently, Swami is the administrator, and the registration gets approved after looking through the information that has been provided. So it's good to also provide more information about why you need access to the site. After the registration is approved, or until the registration is approved, if we try to log in, you will get the message saying registration is awaiting approval. After that, the login will succeed. And for the first time, you have to enter the registration ID that has been provided to you by the administrator through email. If you have provided the registration ID and logged in, then after the first time, you will get a username and a login ID and password, which you use to log into the website. After you log into the website, it's good to change the password to some other password so that it is more secure. As an administrator, when this process is happening, first of all, we can approve registrations and control the access. Currently, we're supporting 4 types of users. We used to have 3 users. Recently, we added one more user. A person with reader access can browse and search text, download documents, look at scan pages, also play audio and video. A student, which we added more recently, can do these things and also browse and play media. A contributor can do whatever the reader and student can do. Additionally, the contributor can bring in new texts, change the hierarchy of text, import or export data, and then add relationship between one text and the other text, change the hierarchy, edit the text, change manuscript text, and so on. An administrator can do the features that are provided for readers, students, or contributors, and additionally can change access control, add, allow or disallow access, and then reset password in case somebody has forgotten the password. This is the typical view you get as a reader. Once you go to the home page, from the home page, if you click text, then the knowledge tree is shown in the left hand side, and on the right hand side there are some search controls. As you are browsing through the text appears on the right hand side, and then search is allowed from the text box provided. We will go through that shortly. As a contributor, mostly we deal with adding and changing the content. So there are various other features that are provided to modify text and export text and so on. As an administrator, while you can do these 2 things, additionally we can go and approve the registrations of existing users or change their access, and this is the registration approval page. Similarly, the roles that I talked about, such as reader, contributor, and so on, can be assigned to a particular user depending on the preferences of the administrator, the purposes for which the site is being used. First, we look at features for contributors. Contributors can bring in new text, change the text, change hierarchies, and so on. Currently, we support adding new text with no intervention, assuming the text has been formatted properly, either as a Excel workbook with or without column names, or as a sequence numbered text file. So either from text file or comma separated values Excel file, we can create a new book entirely from scratch without any additional manual effort. So when we add new texts that have been shown in the site, they are brought in either as Excel workbooks or they are brought in as text files. Then having brought in a particular text, we change how it is displayed on the left, that the hierarchy tree, and on the right hand side, the tabular view of content, by changing the levels that are associated with each text, what all columns are shown, what all attributes are not shown, and then how are they named, what are parameters that control the movement from left to right, and so on. So like that, various attributes where you can change what text is getting displayed and how. Additionally, as a contributor or administrator, we can also go and change the text that is being shown either online as the text is being shown, or we can also change individual attributes that are being shown individually for individual rows. You can also take the entire text that is available in the site. These are being stored in relational databases, and then move them to a text file, move them to a Excel workbook, and so on. These export features are quite useful when we want to do bulk editing of documents as opposed to individual record by record editing, which can be done online on the site. Then many books that are available on the site are related to each other. So unlike what we can do in a physical library, we can electronically link these books. Not only that, we can also link chapters to chapters, sections to sections, and then subsections to subsections, and so on. So that when somebody is browsing one particular chapter, let's say Adhyayam 1, Adhikaranam 1, Adhyayam 1, Padam 1, Adhikaranam 1 of Brahma Sutra, the corresponding commentary for the same can be navigated contextually in a related manner without starting from the first page of the commentary and so on. So a number of books here are linked at a content to content level when they follow each other. For example, Adhikarana Saravali in that way is linked to Bhashyam, Deepam, Saram, Chintamani, Padayojana, or even Brahma Sutram Moolam. So this happens because content administrators or contributors edit these relationships and add new relationships. The static hierarchy drives what is shown in the tree. We can go and change the nodes, node names, what are the original names, what are the English names, and so on. On that basis, the left hand side tree of books gets rendered. As a user, we have a number of different features. Firstly, when you go to the website, you will see a home page that describes what this site is about, and then what is the background, how the site was started, and so on. Then there are shortcuts to go to the most often used features. Most users, most of the times, will be dealing with the text hierarchy. Additionally, we can also navigate to scan pages. Manuscripts is available for contributors, and then certain web tools are also available, which are interesting to use. A typical tree of text looks like this. It starts with an overall organization, Vidyasthanani, and within that, various different branches lead to various texts. It's a mixed organization, partly subject based, like Veda, Vedanga, and so on, and then partly by author, because it's easier sometimes to just go to the author instead of going through the whole hierarchy. So it'll start with an organization that is content based and then author based below. And then when we browse through any of the content, then individual levels that are within that content will get displayed. When we expand Rig Vedam, then we will see Mulapatam, Samhita, Brahmanam, Upanishad, and so on. And then within Samhita, we'll see the individual suktas. And then when we click on the sukta, then the sukta can get browsed. Similarly, for all books are like this. They are hierarchically organized in metadata like a tree. and when we go to the individual leaf node, it will start displaying the content. The tree can also be seen in different languages. On the left, we are seeing it in English. In the middle, we are seeing it in Tamil, and on the right, we are seeing it in Kannada. So there is a language choice, and what it basically does is to transliterate names from one language to the other, so that we can see this tree in the language which is most familiar to us. Then the tree displays the text with accents. In contrast to many other sites, assuming the right fonts have been installed, Chandas font for seeing in Chandas and Nandinagari for seeing in Nandinagari, then we can see the text along with all the accents in place, as we can see here. Then these accents are supported in Unicode for most of what is needed in Rigveda and Yajurveda. So a few more accents are need special effort through these fonts. In Samaveda, that support is not so easy in the existing versions of Unicode that are already with operating systems. Newer versions of Unicode have started supporting these fonts. But even in Samaveda, as we can see, we display the text along with the font, and similarly, we can edit all of this. Then more recently, we have done little more research and investigation into enhancing the content displayed. Previously, we had text with only Anudatam and Swaritam marking. Recently, we have also added Prachayam and Udatam marking, so that further programs can do analysis with all the available accents instead of just the two basic accents and try to determine them. So we have fully determined accents for Padapadam in Yajurveda, and then we have put the accents for all the symbols, all the syllables across all of the Padapadam. Then we also have a previous next based navigation for ease of access. We can go, before or go after an existing page, and then go, let's say, from one Anvakam to another Anvakam, or from one Prashnam to another Prashnam through this previous next type of navigation. The same previous type next type of navigation will also work for all of the content across all the books. Then we can see this same output in different fonts. We can see it in Chandas, we can see it in Nandinagari. What I'm showing here is a Devanagari display on the left and a Nandinagari display on the right. The user can change this and then view that as per the desired font. Then the books are contextually linked. One book is linked to another to other books as applicable by content administrators, and then that contextual linking is what is shown on the tab on the top in the terms of tabs. This particular book is linked to about 20 different other books, and as we browse a different particular chapter and section, by clicking on the tab at the top, we can move from one book to another book. So this shows how that navigation happens. For example, you have Samhita on the top, and then you have Padapatam below. So by using the navigation link, we can move to related sections between two different books. So for that Agnimile Purohitam, you can see Agnimile and Purohitam as the individual words with that contextual browsing. Some books are also linked to manuscripts. As we see the books, if there are manuscripts associated to the books and they've been linked, then along with the book, we can also see them. Along with text, we can also see manuscripts. For example, in Guru Parampara Saram, Rahasya Saram, you see the manuscript version of the text also. Some books are linked to audio and video as well. When we browse through, sometimes we can also see the audio video. It's not there for all the books, but for books where such linking has been done, then along with the book, we can also see the audio, and then we can also play the audio if there is such a recording. Then we can search. All of the content that is there in the text are digitally searchable, and that search is invoked by using the search text box. The search text box allows search by phrase. It also allows search by sequence. Here I have typed a phrase Edrichaya, and then I clicked on the search, and then it shows that across the whole collection, about 147 records are matching this. Then it says where is it that the match occurs and what is the sequence number. And then if you are a content editor, you can also go and edit if you see any mistakes in it. This search is across the website as shown in the previous view, but in this view, I've scoped the text to something smaller. So same Edrichaya is now scoped to only Valmiki Ramayanam and one version of Valmiki Ramayanam. And then we do the search, then the number of records reduces. so that if our research is focused on one particular book and section, then we can also scope our search. The scopes can also be related or unrelated scope. Here I've taken two unrelated and two related scopes. I've taken two within Itihasa, Valmiki Ramayanam, Prachina Patha version, and Mahabharata. And on the other hand, we've also taken Veda. So we can use unrelated combinations or related combinations or hierarchies and do the search. And it will search through the entire hierarchy of whatever is chosen plus all other hierarchies that are mentioned. Then we can also search by sequence. Suppose we don't know the word, but we know the number where it occurs. Then you can also type the number like 8.8.8 and then simply search for that. And then wherever that number occurs, also those records will be pulled, for us to recall and then, do more research. We can also do the same search in different languages. For example, on the left, I'm searching with the word Ramanama in Devanagari. I'm also doing the same search with Ramanama in Tamil. And you'll see that the same number of records are returned. Provided these phrases are equivalent, then it is possible to search uh, in the language that is easier for us to type. The website will transliterate from the typed language to the language in which the data is stored and then match it. Then, in order to make this entry easier, we also provide a web keyboard so that when the search is being done, it can be typed for people who are familiar with the InScript, Devanagari or other keyboards. And then, if not familiar, then we can also use a mouse and then click on the individual keys that are shown in the keyboard. As a content administrator, we can edit text, and then as the text is shown, and edit, update, cancel type of feature is available so that online editing is permitted. Finally, we have manuscripts. We have a large collection of manuscripts that Swami has been collecting over so many years. And we can browse what those manuscripts are, their titles, which library, folio, and then once a title, library, and folio is chosen, the image is then shown. Then there are some image controls to do better viewing and editing of those manuscripts. For example, here is a zoom control. The original image shown like this can be enlarged as shown below. It can be shrunk as shown to the right, or moved to a particular level of size, so that people who are editing it or viewing it can see it and then make sense out of it. Similarly, there are other controls like rotate. So here there is a 180-degree rotation, which flips the image upside down. Sometimes these manuscript photos are recorded vertically, sometimes they are recorded horizontally, and these flipping and then rotating controls help us to view the text in the correct way, top to bottom. We can also search on manuscripts if text has been typed for those manuscripts. When text has been typed for those manuscripts, the text inside them can be searched for. Similar to search of text, when we do this sort of a search, we'll get a list of matches within the manuscripts, and then we can move from there to the individual manuscript, and then we can see those manuscripts after doing the search. This search happens because people type text, translate the text line for line in the text box, and then that's basically what drives it. And as a contributor, we can go and transcribe text if you're able to read the manuscripts, and then we want to contribute. The same transcribed text can also be viewed just like the normal text view in both Nandinagari and in Japanese. Finally, we have reports. The reports provide some metadata about these manuscripts, what libraries we have taken these manuscript or manuscript copies from, what are these names, what is the subject, similarly how many leaves there are, what is the language, what is the type, is it a palm leaf, is it paper, so on and so forth. That basically is the set of features we have for manuscripts. That completes my presentation. Thank you so much.
The gratitude of all of us on behalf of the Parashara Gurukulam also and the Institute also. Again,